Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. It's like I said, every day just brings something new, doesn't it? Yesterday and the day before, we were kind of talking about how weak the market was looking, but at the same time, we had gotten that tweet from Walter Bloomberg that might have signaled a test pump, and lo and behold, it was. We'll talk about that more in a second, guys. But first, I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max, Jackus, and of course, Tucker. We're going to have a great show for you today. Breaking down the incredibly volatile markets that we've had here over the last few weeks, last few months, whatever time frame you want to kind of cherry pick. It has been some absolutely gnarly trading opportunities, right? Whether or not you've been a bear catching the last few months of the downtrend, whether or not you were a bull for a day and made probably just as many gains. There is so much opportunity to trade this volatility, and we are going to be here to cover it for you. But before we can do that, guys, before I can get into a spiel about what happened yesterday and where we go next, I'm going to need you to hit the like button, smash the like button, destroy the like button, do whatever you need to do to justify hitting that like for us, because as I always say, you really help us grow our channel. And continue to reach more eyes, more ears, so that we can continue to bring you guys Market Check every single day. Well, every single day that the New York Stock Exchange is open. But with that said, let's get into what happened yesterday, right? Because we've been in kind of like just this persistent downtrend in all markets for a few months. And yes, it doesn't necessarily, especially in equities though, right? If you kind of look at the structure of price after yesterday's pump, I'm pretty sure that was the largest single day gain of any daily candle in U.S. equities history. When you talk about how long that has, obviously that we've had a market, that's obviously very historic. We've talked about this though all week. I mean, these are abnormal times in markets. These are the type of periods that you're probably going to remember for the rest of your life, right? It can be very easy, I think, to be too zoomed in to realize that. But yesterday, statistically, was a complete abnormality. So I guess the question is, will the pump hold from here, or will we pull back? Will we continue the downtrend? We're very much dependent on headlines right now, kind of getting some resolution to our trade war with China. Maybe it doesn't even matter. As we do have things like interest rates and the Fed making comments this morning that they are monitoring the market. In fact, they like to play. They like to pretend that they're not watching what the market is doing, but we all know that's not true, right? And we've been kind of highlighting how weak interest rates, especially on the 10-year, have been looking, and it was really kind of, I think, the weakness that we saw in treasuries that caused that big spike up in yields this week. So, I mean, there are just so many moving parts to this market. But at the end of the day, that does translate to so much opportunity as a trader or as an investor. So hopefully you guys are capitalizing on those opportunities. Maybe not all of them, but all you need to do in this market is capitalize on one. It seems like, right? Just with how much volatility there is on everything. But like I said, we're going to discuss all of that here with you today, and hopefully give some thoughts on lower time frame price action as well as where we go from here. But how are we doing, guys? What are our thoughts on yesterday's pump, today's price action? It doesn't seem like this market is getting any less crazier.
Dump it, then pump it, then dump it, and then pump it again.
That's how it's been, Jackus. That's how it's been. Yeah. I don't know, man. Bitcoin still got some work to do here for sure. But like you pointed out, 10% on the S&P. I think you're right. That was the biggest, daily gain ever. But Bitcoin did not do 10%. I'll tell you that. Right? S&P pumped more, which is kind of wild, but work to do. But it was nice. It was nice yesterday.
It was wild seeing all of these big tech stocks up more than a lot of altcoins. points.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in a meme market right now.
The world economy is a meme. Losing and adding trillions of dollars to market cap in days. It's crazy if you think about it that way.
Very liquid
Like it,
market we have, Jackus.
Yeah.
it makes you.
pump 22.
Did it
Wow.
really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It pumped 22% yesterday. Wow.
It's
The
crazy
S&P
that like
was up like 10%.
trillions of dollars can just disappear like that, or go back in, like, you know.
Is the stock market liquidity like our on-chain meme coin liquidity?
Looks like.
Yeah, Fart coin was up 50%. It's another good one. I think Bitcoin and ETH were both up over 10% at one point yesterday. The stronger alts were up over 25%. I mean, it's just these vicious moves back and forth, man. I don't think there's ever been a time period where position sizing has probably been more important than it is right now.
Can you expand on that, Tommy?
Okay, yeah, I'll give a great example, right? Like if you, for example, if you were a bull trying to play the reversal, and we just kind of kept bleeding for days even after you expected a reversal, if you put on too much size too early, you probably puked that positioning before the rally yesterday when calls got juiced to the max, pretty much everywhere, right? And then at the same time, if you are a bear and you've been positioned fairly well, but maybe you were a little late, you caught that last big move down with size. I mean, for one, you might have round tripped your entire your position on yesterday's pump. Maybe because you had so much size, you had to puke near the top. I'm sure that happened to somebody. Maybe you were shorting the whole, expecting continuation, and you got blown out. And maybe we continue lower still. So who knows? But I think with this much volatility, if you're sizing like a dick, you're going to be in trouble because, yeah, I mean, positions can just go from like 0 to mine, or from like 100 to minus 99% in a day, very suddenly, and just on a headline. And yes, we had a test pump from that Walter Bloomberg tweet earlier this week, and I think it was Max and Tucker that pointed out that could be kind of a test pump tweet to test for them to see what that would do for the market. But still, I don't think you can really prepare for a 10 to 12% rally on the S&P and the NASDAQ in one day. And if you were expecting, I mean, I saw a few people who actually expected that, but still, I mean, most people are not going to be positioned for a move like that. And even if they are, they're probably still going to get the timing wrong.
Yeah, no, you can't really prepare, like you said, for a move like that. But this is
I personally wasn't like, the thing is, you can never know how exactly it plays out. But for example, what you can do is what I had planned for Nvidia for a few months, right? Where you have this area where you want to buy in, and you can either DCA every single day below that level, or you just buy a single buy or few buys down there. And this way you probably will not catch the exact low, but you can catch it to some degree, and then still get that 10% return.
I mean, what do we think about the VIX bouncing at 30? That is not
It's going higher.
that's not great. Yeah, that's not a good look.
I wouldn't say it's going higher, but you can definitely expect volatility, right? And like this will take now some time of it going bouncing up and down, and going in some channel back down to like 24, 25.
Yeah, I think you gotta get it below 30. 30's kind of that level.
I think
Well,
after
but
what we saw yesterday, it's like you're typically not going to follow up like a plus 10 or 12% green day in the NASDAQ with like another crazy green day. If you
Yeah.
look at the moves historically that have happened that are comparable, it's like, there's a time in like 2002, 2009. There was one in maybe like 2010 that had these just crazy moves. They're typically followed by like a major bleed, and then from there you reevaluate. But it typically means you're getting closer to a bottom than a lot of people would like you to think.
for sure. And like the thing is, right, with Wix, like if it were to drop to 30, well, then you are like to go to 25. That's not that far away. I think what's happening here is exactly, we got that postponement of 90 days that I was very much looking for. This doesn't change anything fundamentally, but it does sort of tell you, or especially the market, that hey, over this period, these tariffs may or may not be adjusted. I would tend to think that they will be adjusted with lots of countries to the downside and lots of trades will be made. But I'm not expecting the market to, after this went through, to immediately nuke through the current levels that we've established. If so, it will happen like 2 months from now. Like you will get a sizable bounce, market rotations, and then the market and the people who are insiders that know and will start positioning themselves accordingly. They will know like 1 month ahead before that goes on. So through this period, I would expect higher volatility for sure, but not necessarily new lows for like the next month or two.
I actually think the VIX is going to make new highs on this move. But I do think at the very least, if we're going to see the market kind of bottom, the VIX can remain elevated above like 25 to 30, like Jack has said, for a few weeks.
Why would you think the VIX makes new high if the VIX was going up due to the uncertainty of these tariffs being put in, and now they got postponed for 90 days?
I don't think
Like,
it's really about the tariffs, personally.
what is it about then?
I mean, I think it's a lot of things. The tariffs obviously kind of exacerbated the most recent move down, right? Which we squeezed out yesterday. That effectively that 10 to 11% drop that the Nasdaq and the S&P put in. What was it, last week, over a 2-day period? I think that was probably tariff driven, but most of the underlying issues in the market are liquidity driven, and that has contributed to the rise in volatility. It's contributed to the bond market turmoil. The Treasury debt maturation in June is still an issue, and I think the yen carry trade unwind is still an issue as well. I just think the fact that we're seeing all of these currencies devalue globally is going to continue to cause some issues as far as like collateralization. So, I'm not just gonna I'm not gonna position myself as if the VIX is going to make new highs, but I really don't think it should be surprising to anybody if we continue to make new highs within this move.
Yeah, I'm just personally not seeing that was like right now. Like, I'm not saying it cannot happen, because it certainly can, but I'm just saying if it happens, I think it happens like 2 months from now, right? Like, if those deals, from my point of view at least, if those deals are not made and you did not find any, equilibrium or anything, you just kind of roll over with it, because I think the market, and that, in my opinion, would be the start of the global recession and bear market. I cannot see it otherwise, but kind of not seeing it go. Like, I think the only way you get that right now would have to be like either a nuke or like literal one, or you would need Trump to say, "Oh, I changed my mind with those 90 days. These tariffs go live right now," and in that case, you would get higher wicks from here. But I just kind of think that we got the big spike, and now, just as price moves naturally, we will get like a slow grind up towards that like 24 area on wicks, and then and that comes maybe in like 1 month, 2 months, and then again, depending on how they went through, you can get another.
Well, I think the flip side is that the biggest right tail in the market, like if we make a trade deal with China, which seems a little bit unlikely from
right now, yeah.
but we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, so never say
Yeah.
never. If we do make a deal with China, then we probably go right back to all-time highs in stocks, just based on how the market reacted yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the headline risk you've talked about recently too. Just like there's nothing like it, right? There's nothing like, oh, deal with China done, we're pumping bottoms in, like just like that. And there's nothing you can really do to, fully prepare for that other than just buying stuff right now. But that's, what you were talking about, like for bears, right? Getting short, that type of headline risk on the table is not easy to deal with for sure.
I think nothing has fundamentally changed with this postponement, and if anything, we still got higher tariffs with China, right? So fundamentally, that is still bearish right now. But for example, imagine if you establish a 0-to-0 tariff between Europe and US, which are two largest economical entities, pretty much. So in that sense, that would be a lot bullish. That alone could pump the market for a decent bit here. But again, it's I didn't think, by the way, these things are like tradable as much on like the news headlines. You kind of need to be anticipating them before they go through, of course, and you do not know which ones will go through. So it's it's not easy, but
Looks like the dollar's about to nuke through support.
yes.
Oh man, yeah, it is.
The rising sun,
But it's
Japan,
still,
the yen.
DXY is coming home.
yeah.
Now we only need the markets to follow up.
Oh, is the CNY actually stronger than Dixie today? It appears so. Yeah. Huh. Didn't expect that. Have you looked at this chart, Jackus? This is incredible.
It's insane.
It's insane.
What?
Dude.
Wait, which
In-
one?
USD over the Chinese
Oh yeah,
yuan.
yeah, I've seen it.
I mean,
Yeah, even like, listen, for exports, you want a weak currency. So what both Trump and or like what both US, well, Trump and China wants right now is have a weaker currency for exports. Like imagine from a Trump perspective or economical perspective, you suddenly have zero tariffs in Europe and you lower the value of the dollar. What does that mean? Well, super cheap US cars in Europe. Nobody has US cars in Europe except like real fans, because they are super expensive due to tariffs plus strong dollar. Suddenly, if you change this, you can export lots of stuff over here, which is good for economy. Again, it's like the thing is, there are so many ways this can go, and you at the end of the day do not know until it's done. Right now, you have to bet on the anticipation. I have a theory with DXY that right now it is forward of like 2-3 months. The DXY is front running the global markets by like 2-3 months. And if you are going to invert it with ease, I think you'll see that. So let me do it.
You want to pull it up?
Up top is DXY. And I think because we know they are inversely correlated over longer, period of time. I think, but I think right now you have DXY that is fast forward 2-3 months, and so when this drop or this upside in DXY was this drop for ETH, and this upside, or like the markets in general, is the future upside for ETH. And this range, this little range is this little range. If it makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
So we could say it's maybe 3 months 3 months ahead.
Can you do me a favor, Jackus, on your ETH chart? Can you draw a horizontal line right there? Or you can keep, well,
Oh shit.
that's okay.
Oh.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
just at the 2018
listening.
all-time, the 2018 all-time high, could you draw a horizontal line at that big level?
Yeah.
Big level.
You cannot see it here because it doesn't have weekends, but if you actually use chart, because I was discussing this earlier, you already know that we have hit that level.
Yeah, we despite what may have happened yesterday, we really need to be holding around here, even if, I mean, look, it's not uncommon to see a move like we saw yesterday get fully retraced, but it's like you basically just need to like destroy the people that bought the top yesterday and then run it straight back. So I think if we could, if we end up seeing Bitcoin down at like, 75, 76 again, and ETH, ETH is just puking right now. If we see ETH back down at like 1400 or like even upper 13s, you kind of need to hold yesterday's low, right? Like that general region. Otherwise, there's just nothing, no hope.
I literally think that sometimes you can get these little differences. I could add SPX. Let's see XPX actually instead of ETH. But I think locally you could have not like this, like I have inverted DXY. So I think what could be happening right now is again that this downside is this downside that we are getting. It's just a little bit postponed because during this period we've seen DXY rise, but we haven't really seen the downside in risk on markets. That risk on came, but now DXY is moving forward ahead, and we should be seeing that. I obviously cannot, like, nobody can give you this guarantee, but I'm saying this for an educational purposes for the future if it comes again. So yeah, will be interesting to look back 3 months from now and say if we got that upside or not.
What do we make of the fact that the currencies of the two largest economies in the world both look terrible?
Well, again, they are trying to. Well, with China, it's pretty clear. Weaker currency is bad for you if you want to purchase stuff outside of your country, but it's great for you if you're a manufacturer and you want to do exports. So you want a weaker currency. So with China, it's absolutely, no brainer. They want as weak currencies, because if you are a Chinese guy and you have a weak currency, the only way it impacts you if you buy stuff from abroad. But since China is the manufacturer of the world, they can just buy everything inside. So they really do not mind a weak currency. The only problem is when they travel outside, where it can get expensive for them. But since their currency is very weak, and if it keeps staying weak, because again, if you are growing as an economy, right, what is going to happen? And I'm not an economist, by the way. I'm just like saying the way I learn it, using common sense and such. But if you are growing as an economy, what should naturally happen is that your currency gets stronger because there is demand for it and so on. But the way to manipulate it, the way central bankers can manipulate it, is if they start printing more currency and, for example, just inflating it literally. And usually what they do is that they buy foreign exchange pairs with it. So like our central bank in Czech has done it too. For example, I can show it right here. Euro versus Czech pound, and this happened in July or in 2015 to 17, and our currency was bound at 27 Czech crowns for €1, but it was supposed to go down, and the moment they stopped, the currency quickly repriced to stronger. So when this pair goes down, that means Czech crown is stronger against euro. You can buy more euros with it.
The name of your currency is a crown.
It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
In Czech, it's Česká koruna. In English, it's Czech crown.
Česká koruna. Was I close?
Yeah. It's like
Tommy, that was so American of you. It was crazy.
Česká koruna.
In English, I think it would be like this. I find it crazy though. I had this on the chart from like a longer term perspective, and I was telling all my family that if they want to swap for some euros, down here should be the level. And it like moved up so nicely. Like it's insane how these levels work so well, even on hard time frames like this. But anyways, back to, because nobody's interested in this, I just want to explain that your because just to explain the context. Oh my god, the context behind it. We are a big exporter. We do a lot of manufacturing here in Czech towards Europe as well. For example, we provide Germany with lots of car parts and so on. So naturally, if our currency would be stronger, that means that it's more expensive for Germans to buy from us, which means they have to sell the cars for more money, which again hurts the consumer, because if the consumer can look at the Germany car or a car from, like South Korea or whatever, he will look at the price and be like, all right, I'm not buying the German, but the South Korean one, right? So if you instead have a weaker currency, you can sell it for cheaper to Germany, and they can have cheaper cars because of that. So this makes, going back to China, this makes so much sense to me that China would want to lower the purchasing power of their currency. And if Trump is looking to bring manufacturing, especially for automotive. I would say I suppose he doesn't want to bring back all manufacturing that there is. I would assume only for certain segments of the economy. Then you want to lower the purchasing power of the dollar, because again, then you can compete on the global trade with other nations and make your products cheaper for them. And I think this is what we are seeing, and again, has been well anticipated since fall of last year.
I kind of feel like that's about to come down a lot in the next like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I think I'm not seeing this. Like you can get a bounce here, but
like I could see 94 and 95 in May.
Yeah,
it's a pretty.
Jack, you know what?
94.
Do you know what bullish example I liked of yours, Jack, is from this morning? I'm just gonna Tommy it real quick.
All right.
Was if we're gonna be bullish, it's gonna look something like this,
Yeah, this one.
I like this example. If we're gonna be bullish here,
Yeah,
something like this.
Like that liquidity. Like I think that liquidity is there to be hunted. What I cannot say right now is whether we are lower later on or whether we hold here. Obviously, I have so much probabilities for us to hold and this to be the bottom, but you do not know what the price will look like in 2 months, right?
Yeah. I mean, I see this. Just depends on so many things.
what do you got to get back above there? 85, 86 max? Where's that line?
This one?
Yeah, where's like...
So I assume it would be like if you can get above yesterday's high, you're probably in the clear. That's like 83. But you could also maybe try to draw it like, oops. Like maybe it's this, hard to say. But you really, at this point, like maybe you do this and then you come back up. I don't know.
No, I think, listen, there's been lots of liquidations and spot buys at the lows. I think these lows should be defended from my point of view, and the only way they are not is if again, recession starting and those deals wouldn't be made. So
I do think when this is done, right, whenever our current I really don't know if I subscribe anymore to the extended recession scenario, because I just think if we're going to continue selling off, you're probably talking about it being caused by a devaluation of U.S. debt and the U.S. dollar, which makes me think they're probably just going to print money when this is over.
Yeah,
which to me is bullish Bitcoin.
Should be. Should.
Yeah,
By the way, gold
definitely should be.
Gold just hit new all-time highs.
Yeah.
Again.
I'm glad Jackus, do you remember when I was joking with you like 2 days ago about punts and shorts on gold?
Oh no.
I know.
Are you?
No, I didn't. Thank God.
It had a huge
he did not. He
fell off though, but yeah.
Is this a short on gold now? Now that we're back at the highs.
Could be. I was actually hoping for a retest of 2,930. I didn't get that. So maybe this was like make a technical pump up there, and then people would be selling below this low. So maybe we could have this move down to 2,930 again.
But
Thank you,
no,
Max,
no
by the
silver
way.
pump, Jackus. No silver pump.
Yeah, silver is not pumping as much, but that is due to the fact that it's less of a store of value and more as a needed industrial metal. And obviously, with all of these trade deals and so forth, it's kind of taking the hit. But the multi-year bull market is there nonetheless. So this is, if you look at the weekly candle on silver, it's swept the liquidity, and right now it's looking amazing. So I wouldn't fade it.
These trading conditions are just wild, man. It's just like you're either scalping on a lower time frame and taking every position with like a 24-hour bias at most, or you're hoping that your entries on larger positions are good ones. There's very little in between.
Mm-hmm. What is that? 71 max?
Yeah. Well, 71.5, 72, maybe.
I still tend to think that if we break down these lows, we go to 65.
It's possible. I mean, one thing that I remember with this move over here was you had these you just kind of like deviated these two highs, right? Like your bear market range high.
Yeah.
And with our current one, it would kind of be like a deviation of your March high, right? Which you front ran.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So kind of similar, right? Just a little kind of the ultimate bear trap, right?
I feel like you already had that third sweep with the latest one, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that final, yeah, that's the one. No.
But
That
there's four
didn't
here.
sweep.
No?
But the second one didn't sweep on the left.
Yeah, that's true. Like this one you're talking about didn't sweep.
Yeah, that didn't. Yeah. So you really have just 1, 2, 3, and we got the 1, 2, 3s.
What if we consider this right here a manipulation that just kind of followed the Trump pump that happened on this Sunday?
Oh, wouldn't it be the one in the middle, like that manipulation one? Maybe.
Because then this was like aggressive sell-off that happened because we got so overshot here on a weekend. So then this is really your low. I don't know. Just playing around with it.
It's totally fine.
Whatever it is, we got to hold here.
We are here to discuss all potentials, right? And just discuss charts and have fun.
God, that Bitcoin pump in 2023. I don't know if you remember, Max, but like I was super long Bitcoin and they tagged my stop by like 50 points on a 1 or 2 minute candle that went all the way back down to the low for no reason and got sucked back up.
I don't remember that, but I do remember this very well. I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being really excited about this like shift of structure here. I was like, oh, they saved it. They're going to squeeze it. But yeah.
I remember being very long for that pump. in altcoins. That was when the SEC, it had something to do with Ripple, I think.
Was there a Ripple development then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, altcoins went bananas. That's why Bitcoin didn't really make a new high.
I can't believe how crazy volatile this market is right now.
Of course.
It's
I
just
think
insane.
Well, move
mean,
like
these-
yes. Wait, go, Jackus.
I just want to say that these are lower time frame moves that we are getting right now. Like you're just kind of filling the inefficient move from yesterday. But again, from like a reasonable point of view, we are not really much better or worse than we were a few days ago. But I would tend to think the market will view it as, hey, now we have the time to make those deals and lower those tariffs. There is really not much there is not not much room to get it much worse than it already is with those tariffs. So I would tend to think the market will not make new lows until that. The only thing that got worse, and that's true, is the China stuff, but that was always going to happen.
I guess the question is the damage already done in the bond market that we see continued stress there?
I see your
They didn't
point. Yeah.
inject any new liquidity.
Yeah, that's a good argument. If we probably saw the yields to continuously, pump up, then that could be the case for potential breakdown in stocks further.
I think the best case for this market is honestly to see like complete volatility death for a few weeks. Like it needs to chill out a little bit, because the more volatile or the longer volatility remains elevated like this, the more or the longer liquidity in the market is going to be poor, which just kind of enables for these moves to keep happening and people to get wrecked. Like crypto, you just want to see that go sideways. Equities, you just want to see that go sideways while volatility just materially comes down.
Well, you could tend to think that BTC is going sideways because literally it's at the same price it's been, at the end of February. But
Excellent store of value.
Yes, not so much. But
some things that are left unsaid for the sake of our industry.
yeah, BNB is still sideways. XRP is still sideways. Again, I'll keep on saying this. This is not a crypto-related drop.
What do you think
If
about
anything,
XRP here, Jackus?
It's still holding the strongest, man. Like that's just reality. If you look at this lower time frame drop, XRP is still holding really strong, in my opinion.
I mean, the strongest coin in the market seems to be Fart Coin.
Oh, of course. We are talking about legacy coins in the top 10 here.
Oh, I know. I was making a joke more than anything.
Okay.
I hate having to say Fart Coin like every day, but here we are.
Here we are.
I don't really find the meme that funny, but it's not up for me to determine.
Yeah, like it's always crazy what the market determines to be, quote unquote winner of the meme casino and whatnot. It was way easier when we just had Doge, if you think about it.
It was. I was reading back through because I have like somebody put together a Google Slides of every trade that GCR has ever taken, like from 2020 to 2023. It's kind of surreal. to read back through it. Doge, one of the reasons it was so successful, it was kind of like the original NFT in a way. And it's kind of like the dilution that we've seen throughout the meme coin sector isn't exactly the same way. But I don't want to misquote what he said. It was very informative. I'd never thought of Doge like an NFT, but I guess that's basically what it was, right? Everybody was kind of buying fractionalized shares of an NFT of
Oh, I see.
Caboose.
I see what you mean, but I'm not sure I can view it that way, because like the way I view NFT is to basically brag, right? Like, hey, I can afford this, digitalized JPEG for hundreds of millions, more or less. With
You know who
Doge,
bought most of the most expensive NFTs that like all went to zero?
some celebrity that had to be
3AC.
3AC. Oh my god! Well, that's a celebrity too.
I mean, they're now famous for the largest hedge fund blow up I think ever by AUM.
Wow.
Kind of unfortunate for them, I guess, because a lot of that AUM was just paper value through seed deals that were overinflated. But still, if you don't leverage, you don't really have to worry about that.
Indeed. I just like there is so many bad stories regarding leverage, and even if it works once, you get addicted to it and use it next time, and then it doesn't work. So I feel like it's always net zero. Sorry, not net zero. It's a negative equity value over the long run, regardless, for absolutely 99.99.99% of people.
Yeah, I think if
or
you
how did
trade
Peña
leverage,
say it?
if you're trading leverage and derivatives frequently, you're only gonna win from a hot streak when you walk away from the table. Otherwise, it's inevitable that you go back.
Yes, like do you know the movie? Wait, I have to find it, with Channing Tatum when they make the car robbery of NASCAR. What is it called? I always love that line he said. You guys know which one I'm talking about?
I don't.
Like there's that NASCAR racing going on, and he and his brother without an arm.
Logan Lucky?
Logan Lucky, yes.
I haven't seen it, but I just found it online.
Yeah, and so in that movie, he is like they make this robbery, but they have this golden rule: don't be greedy, right? And then there's that scene in the movie where they can take more money, but they say like, hey, let's remember, like Channing goes and says, hey, remember this rule, and it actually saves them. And I feel that's exactly what you just discussed. Like if you go to the table with leverage, you need to know when to like you need to be able to leave it, because if you stay there, it will haunt you.
I mean, you're basically playing against systems that are designed to win against the average participant over time. And the more actions that you take, more than likely your edge is going to be grinded back to the mean. That's kind of how I view it, right? Like if you have an edge on one or two trades, that's normal, but you're probably not going to have an edge if you're taking 100 or 150 trades a week. And so the more trades you take, the more actions you take in markets, the more likely you are to revert to the mean, which is unprofitability, because the market is designed to be efficient.
Yeah.
Maybe not in a one-day window or like a week window as we're seeing, but over the long term, it's going to revert to the mean.
That is well said, right? Because even if you look at Tesla, just the fact that it ran like hundreds of percent on the assumption that Trump win, it ran up literally like pre-election. It went up 100% in like 40 days, and added, I do not know, like trillions to the market cap, whatever, are the numbers. It doesn't make sense anymore. But what I'm trying to say is that obviously that was that wasn't probably efficient pricing, but over the long run, as you say, the market will find the equilibrium.
Yes, it will. I feel like my favorite example of like markets and understanding reflexivity is Jeff Bezos talking about Amazon after the tech bubble, where their company was not, I mean, it wasn't profitable during the tech bubble, but the stock was obviously trading way above like PE. And then in 2008, they were very profitable, or they were becoming much more profitable, and it wasn't reflected in the stock price. But obviously, markets will find that equilibrium over time, and it did with something like Amazon. So,
yeah, like even during during times like this, you have the most profitable companies in the world that have a revenue that has been going on for years, and there is nothing problematic with it, the company structure well and all of that, but its stock price can still go down because of external factors like what's going on currently around the world. It can just be a technical drop and so forth, and yet it's highly profitable company everyone wants to own.
what did Amazon do yesterday? I think it was up a lot.
Well, I would say most stocks traded pretty much the same. I feel like the whole world is run by the same algo right now.
It seems like it.
Like if you look at anything, it just moves exactly as the other thing. So I'm kind of not worried about BTC here at all. But I understand most. It's very understandable because most market participants, they will look at they will not view the correlations between the markets. They will just look at lower time frame H4 candle, and the latest one is down, and they'll feel like, hey, that's over. But you would literally need Nvidia to make kind of new lows, SPX to drop further. So I'm not sure I'm seeing that right now. So it's really less about the current BTC price. Like I'm not saying to ignore it, because you always get a specific asset movements. Like for example FTX, right? When there was a blow up, its pricings deviated like crypto prices for like 2 months, but then the markets and all market participants seen that there is no follow through, no additional risk to crumble, and then they went back on to follow up the rest, basically.
Nvidia is, I think, particularly interesting to me among tech stocks, because I feel like it's almost got like a variable most closely related to the Chinese-American trade war with chips in Taiwan. And I do, like, I'm going to sound like such a broken record, but I feel like as this continues to escalate, why would China not take Taiwan, or at least attempt?
Yeah,
given we are not just in a trade war imposing tariffs on them, but we're clearly trying to devalue their currency.
I would very much agree. The only question there is when that happens, right? And the thing is, you can easily rally, even on Nvidia, right? Looking at this chart, you can easily rally to 140, 150. And then China invades Taiwan. And that's the drop that comes from 150 to, who knows, maybe like 120. And the next higher leg could be higher up than the current prices, right? So it's always like, it's potential, but the tough part is the timing. And as a single entity, right? You are not the powerful being that knows all things. That's the market, and the market's telling you that in the price action. It is the only thing you can do.
It's funny how we get news catalysts sometimes way after the fact, when we're kind of expecting them. I think the most obvious example of that is CZ going to jail and Binance.
Yeah.
right? We ended up
Yeah.
getting news at way higher prices, and it did nothing to the token.
That was probably a good signal, right? Like looking back, that's maybe if you can pull up BNB chart, Tucker. But by the way, you're muted in case you would want to speak at some point, guys.
BNB, brother. Yeah, let's see. Oh man.
If you zoom in on that bottoming formation in 2023.
Back here. Yeah.
Yeah. And that big drop, right? That daily in November.
This one? No.
No, November.
November. Oh, this.
That's CZ going into prison.
Yeah.
But literally zero follow through. And you on this drop you were retesting the prior range lows. Like even if you think about it, right, from a technical standpoint, you deviated at bottom and you broke to the upside in October. Clearly, you ran the next range high at 260, which is the equivalent of Bitcoin, kind of running 25K. You reject straight there on CZ going into the jail. Like it could not have happened at a better time.
Yeah,
Then
I
you reached
remember
the
all
next-
this, dude.
Yeah.
This was crazy right here. This was crazy because everybody, me included, had their. Where's the log chart? Yeah, there. Had the log chart out, looking at like this basically, and was like, "Oh, are we gonna retrace this entire thing and come back to like $40 or whatever?" You know. And then that was it. We just went up. Because Matic did the same thing back then too. I think. I don't even know if you can pull that chart up anymore, but yeah. no, you
God,
can.
Matic was such a fun short.
Yeah.
We'll
I
never
think-
forget that.
You need to go with the index price if you want the history on Matic, Tucker.
The which one?
The index one.
Matic USD.
Matic USD and
This
this
one?
one's.
Yeah, because it never lost that like bull market range low back in 22, but now it has. Now it has. So
Speaking of Binance, Jackus, what do you make of BNB here?
I literally don't know. Like the only thing that comes to like one thing I'm noticing is that lots of traction is moving onto the Binance chain. I'm not sure if you've noticed that too.
I have, just not for my bags.
Yeah, that always sucks. Not part of the inner circle, are we? But
The Cabal didn't like my ticker choice, I guess.
yeah, no worries. We are in the same camp. But I'm not liking this chart, honestly. But crime. If I were judging this chart on its own, I would tend to think this goes to 400 or like 420 or something. 420. Let's do 420. Elon would love that.
yeah, that's actually not bad.
I would tend to think, looking at this chart, but it doesn't really fit well with the rest of the market. So I really don't know. I think it should have been breaking lower way before. And, technically, it's a range.
Yeah, I have no idea what to think about that. It's difficult. Wait a minute. Hold on. Does that look like... Oh no.
What? I
Can
mean,
you overlay USD JPY on that chart, Tucker?
oh my gosh. Yes, I can. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. You mean just like
There's some correlation there.
for sure. I mean the drop, right? This last little.
I am observing.
Hmm. Yeah, this low. This low is that one. Hmm.
We did say the dollar's. I think the dollar's about to drop pretty dramatically over the next few weeks.
I think so too. Or like, again, maybe it stalls here for some time, but I'm just having a hard time not seeing it fall through sooner or later.
I mean, Tommy, if you think USD JPY is going to take 140, then BNB takes 470.
Let me see what my level was on USD JPY.
I don't even want to know what it was.
It's not as low as it was like a few months ago, but give me a second. Phew. Let me see. I mean, I feel like that January 9th low. Oh, wait. 127, 130 on USD JPY.
You said 127, 130.
Yeah. But I don't know what that means for Binance. I mean, I'm not expecting it to go that low.
I mean, the equivalent low on Binance would be like twos. But obviously, you know, this pumped 24%, where BNB pumped like 3x, 4x, 3x. So
Let me screenshot that.
Wait, did you actually screenshot your screen
I did.
with a phone?
No. With my Mac, I can. What is it, like Command Shift 4?
Oh, and it does make the sound. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the old ads from the 90s when people were like, the tech people were trying to teach boomers and so how to work with computers, and they were like, well, you click on it with your mouse, and then they like in that ad they took the mouse and actually clicked on your screen, like literally like took the mouse over to the screen and clicked it. I suppose.
Are there any other tickers that are piquing our interest today, boys? Even if just to trade.
Well, I remember right at the beginning of the stream, somebody wanted MACD on the SPX.
I think we have a super chat.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're in the process of creating a low, you would think.
Yeah.
Is that from Jackie's chart earlier seems like going to zero? Then why hold Pepe now? Well, thanks for the donation first, and second, that was just in case we were to lose the current levels that we are at, right? Like under the circumstance, like my case was that if we do not if we do not hold here, then we are accepting in the prior range, and that leads us to 3 digits. And if we go there, then basically, like, why would you hold? Why would you hold it at that point?
I'm feeling good about my yen trade. Dude, that candle.
I know.
I looked through the history of financial markets and could not find anything like that. We are in unprecedented times, fellas.
I'm feeling liberated. I'm not sure about you guys.
There he is.
Let me just slightly adjust this. This is not what an asset class we are in. It's all asset classes in the world right now. Like, imagine the largest market in the world called SPX, right? And it moves trillions in a few minutes.
SPX looks like a shit coin.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It's trading like a shit coin, that's for sure.
Dude, boomers are in shambles.
Imagine if you are going to retire now or anytime soon, but what you're looking at the market right now, you're like, wait, do I like give 20% of my holdings? What do I do? What if it keeps on dropping? Oh no, I need to get out. I cannot afford my retirement to plummet even more.
I wonder if there's a lot of people that are in like their late 50s that are just freaking out right now. They're like about to retire.
Yeah.
And their Roths just got destroyed.
Probably.
100% there are.
And that concludes our moment of silence for our fallen lower time frame soldiers.
Dude, I don't think anyone's laughing at their retirement. I think we're more just like in shock of the state of the S&P 500 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, trust me, no one's laughing at the expense of others if that's what you're implying, Sizzle.
No.
What is that meme? Yeah, I mean, it's not anything related to retirements. We're just enjoyers of markets. Unfortunately, the market will do whatever it's going to do regardless of our opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's back.
We started the show at 40. No, at 38. We started the show. The VIX was right here.
Oh, TLT's down 2%. That's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yields are going back up.
I know.
Ah, shit. Here we
Dude.
go again.
Shut the VIX down. Halt trading.
VIX.
Are we? Oh, we're about to hit a circuit breaker on the Qs.
Oh yeah, SPX is down 6. What's Q's down?
Notice how we can hit circuit breakers on the way down, but not on the way up.
When is the circuit breaker on? Is it on an hourly candle or 4-hour or?
Tucker, I think you have to take it from the top of the gap because that's where we closed
Oh,
yesterday, right?
You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean,
It would be
dropped
yesterday's
6.
close, not the low. It was not yesterday's open.
Oh,
It's,
man,
yeah.
you're right. 6.3 right
I think
now.
minus 7% is a circuit breaker.
I mean, we hit it on the. We almost hit it on the wick.
They'll probably protect the circuit breaker, honestly. I feel like that's actually I take that back. I don't know what they're gonna do. Max, you still think Trump is a genius? I didn't say he's a genius, man. I never said he was a genius. I think
He has a very good team around him, though.
I think it was
full of
brilliant
genius.
how he basically forced China to assume all the blame for his tariffs and turned every country in the world into an ally in this very short-term tariff rift, where now China's not going to be able to align themselves with any other countries that were affected by these tariffs because they don't want to deal with, oh, now we're retaliating. We needed an ally to stand up to Trump. It was going to be China as the big one. And we can't, in the spirit of self-interest and self-preservation, we're not going to open our mouths and speak out against Trump or push back because we don't want to deal with a 12.5 times increase over the 10% gift that we've been given. So China is the lone soldier here that's up against Trump, and they have nobody to help push back against him. So I didn't say he was a genius, but I thought it was a really solid move, honestly. I mean, he completely flipped it against China. Now it's China's fault that all this is happening. So, even if you don't like them, that's the problem with politics, which is why I never get into it. People that you don't like in politics still have the capacity to do something good, right? So even if you're like, I don't like Trump, he's bad man, whatever, he still has the capacity to do some stuff that's good, right? And I think that's where a lot of people with politics, not to get on this whole tirade, get caught up, where it's like, you could be a Democrat, you could be a Republican, you could think someone's a jerk, you could like someone, it doesn't matter. There are Democrats and Republicans that have the capacity to do something impactful, whether you agree with their overarching policies or not. So I thought it was a good move. I thought it was a really interesting negotiation tactic, right? Like he really pinned China against the mat. So that's what he wanted to do. And he did.
I literally think it's as easy as this. Price down, Trump is stupid. Prices up, Trump is genius. It's literally like this. It's like prices down, tech is bad. Prices up, tech is good. Like, listen, he has people like Scott Bessent as his, at the treasury. Like the guy worked for Soros Fund. He is from Yale University and manage hedge funds. Like these guys are not stupid. They know what they are doing, and they've been around the market for a long time. But yeah, man. People from mom basement know more usually.
Are the queues about to get halted? I'm pretty sure it kicks in at 7%.
I mean, they barely 6.97.
I would love a little at this point, halt the queues, man, just for
Whoa,
the headline.
it would
Just for
only
the headline
be-
lore,
It would be 15 minutes, I'm pretty sure. Have a halt, but
Yeah, just for the lore, man. Let's do
These
it.
are legendary trading, like generational trading conditions that we have right now. There will probably never be as good of a time to scalp the market and trade lower time frames as like the last week, 2 weeks, maybe the next 1 to 2 weeks also.
Dude, I was looking at some of these like 0 DTEs that had suspicious volume on them yesterday and today. There are some 0 DTEs that literally went up like multiple 100x's in like an hour. You know, and today I'm sure some of the 0 DT, like if at the open today or yesterday's close, if you had bought like the 450, 450 puts for today's close, I mean, you're probably up 50 to 75x right now minimum. You know, if you bought them right at the close yesterday, which is crazy.
There was definitely insider trading that went on.
Oh, dude, I saw a lot of really suspicious, really suspicious volume. There are people posting about it where like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour before Trump tweets out.
That's so funny.
Is the deal. China's screwed. Everybody else is at 10%.
Max, you're right.
There were people that were buying like 0 DTE calls and just making millions of dollars. Dude, some guy went 10K, I don't know who it was, 10K to 17 million on some QQQ 0 DTEs. That's insane.
Wait, was it just me or did Max rock in the middle of that sentence?
He cut out.
Did I
for a
rogue?
second.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying some guy went, I don't know who it was, obviously, 10K to 17 million on some 0 DTEs yesterday.
17 million?
10K to
know.
17 million.
I don't know if he actually. I think that was just like what it would have gone. I don't know. If
Oh,
somebody
really? It was
actually pulled that. Yeah.
maybe. It was framed as though it actually happened, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Well, one thing's for certain, there is like insider trading 100% happening, and for sure a lot of the stock market drops are there happening, but this is like no different from any other administration, just to make cheaper buys and stop people out. Like that's been going on, and if you think otherwise, then you better think again. like politicians will create FUD news just to lower the stock price, make people sell, and so that they can buy back cheap, and then release news saying the opposite. And Trump and his team will not be different.
What was the craziest part about yesterday is that Trump, like a few hours before the announcement, literally told everyone to buy, and everyone was like, nah, he's just talking shit. Like,
Yeah.
no one believed him.
But obviously, it's because people learned the lesson with Eric Trump. He also said that it's good time to buy ETH. People bought, and then it is where it is. So obviously, you will not trust again.
Dude, if Eric just hadn't opened his mouth about ETH, we all would have bought yesterday.
Yes.
Thanks
Wait,
again, Eric.
Eric
Did
Trump
you even say
talked
thank
about
you?
Say
ETH
thank you.
yesterday?
What'd you
Wait,
say?
what?
Eric Trump tweeted about ETH yesterday?
No.
This
Like
was at
2 months ago.
2700.
Oh.
Remember when he tweeted out like good time to buy ETH or something, and then it just nuked. So yesterday, everyone sees Trump tweet out like, "Oh, great time to buy," and everyone's like, "We're not falling for that again." And then it actually worked out. So once again, thank you, Eric.
But Max, you already said it more than once, so he should do something about the price now.
Dude, it's about time they do something about the price. I'm tired, boss. Jackus, are we holding these lows on Bitcoin?
Of course.
Of course. All right. You must have spoken to Eric. You must know something.
Insider trading. What's your edge in the markets? Well, I know the insiders. The best edge.
The best thing that I'm seeing with Bitcoin right now is like whether we make a new low or not, we'll just have to see what happens. But we're still holding that rolling yearly VWAP, which is so important because when you really lose it, you can deviate below it. But like when you lose that yearly VWAP, typically you're cooked for a while. And we're just still hanging on to the Cheeto, man. We are just hanging on to the Cheeto. So
yeah, but 4K was also a Cheeto, right? So it's BNB at 200 was a Cheeto. So Obviously, until it's over, it's not. Again.
Oh no,
like,
sorry. I
You
was
mean
I
the
was saying like
rolling.
I was saying it's a good thing. Like it's bullish that we are still holding the Cheeto. You know,
oh yeah, for
not that we're
sure.
about to lose it. I guess it's possible we lose it, but I was saying it's a good thing.
Wait, how do I not have it do this?
What is that?
Tucker, you need my custom. You need
What
my
is
custom
that?
one.
Oh,
That's just the standard trading view up.
You need to type in roll. There should be a free one, rolling VWAP. But I have a custom one that I made if you want to use it.
I was about to say that's the average VWAP of Sailor buying the top.
Oh, wait, I have it.
No, I made a new one. That one's dust, man.
Made a new one.
Dust. I wouldn't get that off this. Ugh, bro, get that off the screen.
What's this?
Dust.
just looks like a
I'm
good
embarrassed that I ever
market.
made that one.
Come on.
No, so type in days. Yeah, you can go 365. So that'll work, but I made a better one. I'll share it with you later.
I remember this tag right here.
So that's concrete. Like we're still holding that, which look okay. Look at this though, Tucker. Like go back and look at last cycle. When you lose, this is your true bull market support band. When you lose the rolling VWAP, the yearly, you can deviate it. That's fine. We accept deviations. We're appreciative of deviations. But you need to hold this rolling VWAP because when you lose it, it's ogre.
Ice cycle indicators flashing. No, there's no way.
What?
Hang on, I don't remember which one's the good one again. Let's get rid of this one. Okay. Oh,
Much
that
higher.
is. Hold on.
I kind of don't think the pi cycle is going to work this cycle unless we just genuinely get like a 300 or 400K Bitcoin. Like it's just too much time has gone by.
Yeah.
We're not trending like we have in previous cycles. Like we're the structure is so much different. I mean, again, it's possible if we literally rip to like 300 or 400K, I think it would hit, but it's just so much time. It's just so lagging right now, but it doesn't really matter. It was always at some point going to break, but
could have been the next cycle, right?
yeah, super cycle. I don't know. We'll see.
Like, let me get out before everyone else.
Yeah. I remember last cycle, everyone was fading it. They're like, no way. It was fit in hindsight. It's not going to work. And then it just worked.
It worked again.
Yeah.
I swear I'd never heard about this until this cycle.
I hadn't heard about it until after it stopped working, which was like the second top.
It's
Okay.
worth keeping an eye on for sure, just to see, but I wouldn't. You can just tell how lagging these bands are now. It's just we're gonna have to go so much higher for so much longer for them to hit, which it's always like you just never know, right? But I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think that takes us to the end of the show, gentlemen.
Sounds good.
I think so.
Here's what we're gonna do, guys. So we're gonna run one commercial that I want you to watch. It's a brand new one for the end of the show here. We opened up our BB Terminal portfolio tracker 100% free. So it's a little bit of a gift for everybody that's been supporting us for this whole time. We spent like 6 months building this thing out. It's got 62 chains. You can just copy paste an address in there, populates your entire portfolio. It's really awesome. And we built it out because there's really not that many great portfolio trackers in crypto. So you can watch this little ad. You can see some highlights of it. And again, you can sign up 100% for free. You can link your Gmail or just type in an email. 100% free. No credit card needed. No nothing. Track your portfolio. Stay on top of it. So here it is.
Welcome to the all-new BB Terminal portfolio. Faster, smarter, and now free for everyone. Signing up is easy. Just use your Google account to get started in seconds. Once you're in, you'll get a clean, aggregated view of all your wallets. Or dive into individual wallets for more control. We support Wallet Connect for seamless syncing. And don't worry, we use industry-standard encryption to keep your data safe and secure. Prefer not to connect your wallet? No problem, just use our manual entry mode. Choose as many tokens as you like. Then plug in your transactions. It's quick and intuitive. Watch your portfolio stats and charts update in real time. Your portfolio refreshes automatically every hour, but you can also sync instantly with just one click. BB Terminal Portfolio, available to everyone for free.
All right, guys. So it's pretty cool. And again, 100% free. Would love if you guys would check it out and use the BB Terminal Portfolio Tracker. Again, you just put in your email, set up your account. Literally takes like 1 second if you just link an existing Gmail. Input your wallets manually, or you can use our Wallet Connect, 100% free. So check that out, guys. Let us know what you think, and we will see you for tomorrow's episode of Market Check. Everybody have a great day. Stay safe and take care.